What's going on, guys? Alex here from Royal Street Krew. Today we are doing the oil pump gears for episode 3. Shout out to Dominator Motorsports for sending them out to me.
For the hookup.
For sponsoring the build. Give us for sponsoring the build dance.
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah, so today we're going to be changing the gears for billet pump gears and the valve springs. We've got the valve spring tool as well. And we also got an atomic backing plate for the oil pump, just to save the gears coming out the back of the pump. So what we're going to be changing, we've already stripped the sump off. We've got a new turbo sump ready to go on after that. But this is the oil pump just here. If I get a torch. You see those little 8mm bolts. You got to take all of them off, and don't forget the 2 on the bottom. And then she should be all ready to come out. So we'll get that off now, and then we'll take it to the bench and pull the pump apart. Alright guys, so we've pulled the oil pump off the engine and we're having some major difficulties undoing the bolts because they're soft metal and they're Phillips heads. They're just deciding to strip. So what we're doing is we're grabbing a 3mm drill bit, we're drilling out the center, and then we're using the easy out to get them out. Because we do have an atomic backing plate going back on with the hex heads, so that should be better than the Phillips heads. So I'll drill the rest of these out now, and then we'll change the pump. Placing the standard powdered metal pump gears with some Dominator ones. Shout out to Dominator for hooking us up with these. When you put them in, you want to make sure it all spins freely. We're going to chuck the atomic backing plate on now. It's also good when you're putting the gears back in to grease it up and then change the oil at around 1000 Ks and just wipe it around the edges.
Don't shift the marbles.
Alright, that's right, and then we'll chuck the backing plate back on and we'll get it back in the car. So with the atomic plate you get some new hex head bolts, so you don't strip those, as the other ones were all a pain. Switched from just shitty cast aluminium one to a billet one, billet backing plate. You want to torque these up to 10 Newton meters each, and then it can go back in the car. Okay, so backing plate and gears are on. You just want to make sure it spins freely inside, which it does. Nice and easy with all the grease and everything on it. And now our pump is ready to go back on the car. It says to torque under 8 to 12, but 10's in the middle, so let's do 10. 10 Newton meters, so 10 and 0. 10. Bottom ones. 10 and 10. Oil pump is back on. All the bolts are torqued to 10 Newton meters. The book says 8 to 12, but meet them in the middle, do 10. So what we're going to do next is clean the surface on the bottom of the sump area, and then chuck this sump on. The best thing about this sump is, well, the only reason I changed it is because the other one, I'll show you the thread. I went to pull the thread out to drain the oil out of it, and the sump thread came with it. So I thought, instead of buying another B-series sump or helicoiling it, I just went with the turbo one. Already comes with the oil drain ready to go, and then we'll just chuck it all back on, and then the drain just goes straight in. I don't have to drill and tap any holes, so that's the better way to do that. What's going on, guys? It's Alex back again. Only reason I'm filming or starting it off again is because yesterday we had a few altercations with the engine stand, and it wasn't quite working to how we wanted it to, so we had to fix that up a little bit. But today, well, continuing on this video, after we've done the billet pump gears, you would have seen, we replaced these powdered gears with some billet ones. We are going to be resealing the sump, so we're going to be getting all of this old gasket stuff off, and to do that, I have got some gasket stripper and a scraper here as well. So I'm going to start stripping off all of this stuff here. I'll take you guys with me to do that. Then we'll reseal the sump, and we'll get it ready to put the head studs on. And then after that, we'll get to doing the valve springs, which we have just under here. Oh, and also, Brandon came over yesterday, and he done all of the coil pack wiring. So all of these plugs, because we had a BF harness. I got an FG rocker cover, so the plugs are different. So we had to wire the plugs in for different coil packs. So he did that yesterday. So and now we're just gonna get to stripping all the stuff off the bottom of the sump, cleaning it up, and getting it ready for reseal. Alright guys, so today we're going to be using a SP Tools gasket stripper to remove all of this old gasket. So what you want to do, once you've got it all set up, is you want to get at the lowest angle possible, and then as you can see all this gasket here, we'll just scrape off quite easily. What you want to try and do is scrape away from the sump here, so you don't get any of the shit in the sump. So I'm going to speed up the process now, and then we'll get to resealing the sump. Alright guys, so basically what I want to do before I chuck the gasket back on, I've got a platinum gasket, sump gasket here, that will obviously run around the edges of the sump there. What I want to do, because I'm going to be flipping the sump upside down, I just want to put a dab of silicone, probably 3 on each side, just to hold that gasket in. That way, when we go to put it upside down, it doesn't fall out or anything. Also want to get some in the half moon seal right at the end. Alright guys, so I've got the gasket sat in there all nicely around the whole way. What I like to do just for a bit of security is just on these big open corners here, I just like to put a dab of silicone and around the top here. That's just extra security for me, even though the gasket will make sure it doesn't leak. Alright, so I just hit that with a soft face hammer just to get that on there, because obviously you don't want to mark the sump or anything. But yeah, so you just got to give it, once you put it on, you just got to give it a light tap just to get it on there, and then install all your bolts and then tighten them up, and then we'll get to doing the head studs and the valve springs next. Alright, so I've tightened all of the 8mm on the side. I've just got my brother tightening the other ones, and I'm doing the 13mm girdle bolts on the side. Just to tighten them up, and once they're all tightened up, we'll turn the engine over, clean up the top of the block, the deck, ready for the head gasket, which should be coming in the mail in a few days. I'm using a multi-layer steel one from Plasma Man. And after we do that, we'll get to the head studs, or probably not the head studs today, probably the valve springs, and then head studs when the head's ready to go back on. Alright guys, so we got the motor flip back up. I've just chucked the towel there so nothing goes in the cylinders. Now we are on to valve springs. So I did the very first one just as a test, just to make sure everything went smoothly. And these are 95-pound springs, just there. And I got the plate so you can do 4 at a time. Otherwise, doing them one by one. This one took me about 5 minutes. So I'll show you how to do them now. So basically, what you do is, if you buy this kit, you get the plate, the bolts that bolt into where the cam caps go into. You get the 4 bolts, obviously, to screw these little things down, and then you get 4 of them. So you get your 4 bolts with the plate, then you get the bits to screw into the cam caps, and then you get these little valve spring squashers. So what these do is you sit this open end on the bottom, on top of the valve and stuff there. And if you're doing this on the bench, I suggest pack some rags or something on there just so the valves don't drop. Or if you're doing it in the car, that's what this hole's for, so you can spray compressed air down the cylinder just to hold the valves up. So what you want to do from now is, once that's sitting on there, you screw this down. So what you want to do is you screw it down until it's sitting flush with the top. Then you get your ratchet, wrong way, you ratchet and you spin this. Okay, so then what will happen is, once you squash that all the way down, you'll see the little retainer bits in there. They seem to have already popped off themselves. So what you do then is you grab a magnet and you grab those little retainer bits out. So that's your little retainer bit just there. They go in small side on the bottom. So let's chuck those on our bench here, and then I'll grab the other one out as well. Leave that there. And then once those 2 little keepers are out, then you unwind this. Unwind this all the way. Take your ratchet off. And then undo this all the way until you can get your valve pusher, your spring pusher down. It's not high enough. Once you can get that all the way out. So once you've undone that all the way, you'll see the springs all the way out with a little retainer on top. So you just pull the whole assembly out, and there's one of your valve springs out. So then you put that on the bench over here, take your retainer off, put it with your little keepers, grab another spring. Again, these are 95-pound springs, and then you just sit that over the valve, put the little retainer back on, and then you squash this back down again. So you do this all the way up until you squash that spring again. And then once that's all the way squashed, you want to get your little valve keepers. So once that's squashed all the way down, you'll see the little indents on the valve just in there. That's where these little grooves on the keepers sit. You want to sit them skinny side on the bottom in there. So what I usually do is I get a little pick with some grease on the end and stick them in. Usually if you've got small hands, you might be able to just sit them in there and they'll fall in there to place. And then, like I've just done here, then you spin that one to the back, and then you do the same with your other one just here. So once those are both seated correctly, and you want to make sure they are seated correctly, which they look clasped together there, you want to then let pressure off this nut, lift it back all the way up to the top, and then that's your valve spring done. So we'll do that here now. Then you pull your ratchet off, undo this big bolt. Sorry if this is out of focus or bad lighting. So once that's all the way out, you pull the little compressor off, and then that's one of your valve springs done. So I've got the other 22 to go. So I'll do those and I'll pick it back up. So far I've only done 2. I've done 1 tester and I showed you guys how to do 1. Oh, and also I forgot to tell you, if you don't know, these little rocker things, obviously they'll be on there before you take them off. So these, they just pop up like that, and then they come out. And then you just put them back in. You just stick it in the little hole, and then just give it a little bit of a wriggle, and it should go in and down. And that's your valve spring done. So can't complain about that. It's pretty easy. I'll do the other 22 now, pick it back up with you when I'm done. Alright guys, we finally finished all the valve springs. I didn't film much because it was such a lengthy process. It took me about 2 hours because there was 24 springs to do. I'll show you now though, we are all done. So they're all fitted in there nice. Again with the handy tool, with the old springs just down there and the billet gears from before. So what else is new today? So my dad rubbed down the front timing cover and sprayed that black because we're going to make the engine bay as clean as possible. So that's looking very fresh, all new black. We got twin 415 fuel pumps with a Racework surge tank. We've just got the top off because we're mocking up all the fittings and lines and stuff, which you'll see in next video. So we've got the surge tank here with the twin pumps and stuff in there. I'll open it up. So we've got the hanger with the twin pumps. They're 415 litres per hour pumps. E85 compatible, obviously, because we're going to be running E85. Shout out to Craig Long from Long Boost Performance. I've also got a GCG Turbos beanie, so we don't melt the rocker cover. We cleaned up all the engine bay, not the engine bay, sorry, deck, ready for head gasket, and we got the sump and everything all ready to go, with the oil return all done there. Next video we will be chucking the timing case, the head gasket back on and rebuilding the engine, ready to put back in the car, and we are also going to be spraying the whole engine black for that stealthy look. We've sent off the rocker cover for powder coating because we got, I think, the dash 10 fittings on there because we've got a catch can set up as well. So we sent that off for powder coating when the turbo gets in here. So we're getting that painted white, the rocker cover, and we're going to get the front housing on the turbo white, and the rest of the motor is going to be black stealth. So it's going to be nice few touches there. Going to make it all mint and stuff like that. So yeah, again, all the valve springs have been done. If you ever need any performance work, message me on the Instagram. I'll be happy to sort you out with that. But yeah, so we've got quite a lot done today. And next video we'll be mocking up lines and rebuilding the engine. So until then, stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Remember, RSK is a family. Spread the word.